Ain't no such thing as no motherfucking satellites. They don't exist. Make it make sense for me. Like I told you, time isn't real. There's no satellites in the sky floating around the goddamn planet. That ain't even how a planet looks. And their power is limited to right here. They ain't putting no satellites in no dimensions or none of that. All of their power, right? To understand why I'm telling you that CGI imagery that they showed you. I know y'all all seen it. But CGI means computer generated image for those who don't know what it means. Because there's a lot of us who in here. Everybody don't know what it means, and that's okay. That's why this is an informational channel. This is a university for real. Internet version, that's it. That's the only difference in we come as we are. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think this is all about? Computer generated images they showed y'all. They showed the whole world. But they so dumb. You see what I'm saying? Because they think they smart. That's how dumb they are. The elites, the global elite, and these reptilians and Pleiadians, the shadow government, if you want to call them that. They think they smart, but they really not. Especially if you own to them. Now, if you still walking around thinking like, okay, you have a president, government runs your president runs America. If you still walking around thinking like that, that's 3D, and that's okay. But we not on 3D down in here. We not down there no more in here. We up here. We 9D and climbing back up in here. Because the more you remember, the higher you rising. That causes us to go through a metamorphosis where we will actually shape shift back into our more bigger physiques of 20, 30, 40 feet. This is a fact. It all starts with what you remember. This is why they fear information. This is why they fear any motherfucker that's talking. That's the reason they fear that. Because it's the information. It helps, it stimulates your soul, your memories. They bleach the soul of his memories. But that bleach is nothing but the system. The social engineering. And so it can always be washed out of your soul with truth. Any truth is washing it out. You start remembering. You started feeling better about yourself. Your frequency start rising. And the more you remember, the better you're going to feel, because you're going to see that you're all powerful, that you are the creator of all. That's going to cause you to eventually go through metamorphosis. See, they put us in reverse metamorphosis, but they show us all the time. So with this tsunami, that's why I was talking about the CGI. They got to show you the CGI images. They have to show you that to maintain some form of control over your rationale. The way your perspective is everything. It's not actually what's happening. It's all about how you perceive it. What you think is happening. So to keep control over that, they have to show you the computer generated images. Let's slice through that lie about the tsunami right away. Because they still told you what happened in showing you the CGI imagery, because they are not creative enough to make up shit at all. They can only steal or lie. But you cannot lie without telling the truth. There has to be some truth in there for it to even be a lie. People don't even think that deep. You can't tell the truth. You can't lie. I mean, you can't lie without telling the truth. The lie is formulated around the truth. You feel me? So I'm saying that to say, when they showed the image of, on the CGI imagery, they showed you an explosion. There wasn't an eruption. They said, hey, the volcano erupted. But that was an explosion they showed you. And then there's no to understand CGI imagery. This is important. There's no satellites in the sky. You're not getting your Wi-Fi connection. None of that is coming from satellites. I've always said this. None of that comes from your satellites. They tell you we got satellites in the sky. Right, like they tell you the earth is round, and they tell you that we all one human race, right? They tell you that too, okay? It's a lot of shit they tell you. They've told you to maintain control over your perspective. They told you that the trees they fucking cut down are mountains. That's a perspective grabber right there, nigga. Because had they told you as a child, like, it was all you had giant trees, but they got cut down. They could have just told you that. Hey, it was giant trees at one time and they all got cut down. So now when you ride and you see them giant tree stumps, you be like, oh, them tree stumps. But your perspective is different about the whole fucking life you live. Like, you be like, hold on, it was trees that fucking big? And who the fuck cut them down if they was that big? And what did they use? Your mind runs off with so many questions. So to control your perspective, the mountains. And they come from rock formations in the earth. That's a whole different perspective. And then the bushes, the little bushes on your planet, like them trees, them actually trees. So now you like them mountains that now don't exist. And you looking at the bushes of the planet, and you like, oh, them trees. That's big. That's huge. That's huge. So many questions ain't asked. So it's the same thing with the satellites. You got satellites in the sky. So now they can show you any fucking thing and call it what? Satellite imagery. Satellite caught this. We caught this on radar. Now they controlling the cosmos. All right? You think they're going to show you what the fuck is going on? No. Because your perspective changes. And when some shit did come in, they titled it UFO. Unidentified flying object. Like they ain't know what the fuck was going on. The whole time. I mean, we know now, but think about how long they knew. Remember that? Now they put it out. Boy, it wasn't like that at first. How quick do we forget? Well, majority of your life, that shit was non-existent and it wasn't real. They was acting just as confused as you. We don't know. We don't know. Unidentified flying objects. And they want to roll out all these little goofy ass stories over the years. Like, yeah, we potentially. Well, think about how many series they got off on that though. All them UFO series they used to come out with as a kid. Well, they had so many different ones. Acting like they don't know some shit. Whole time, nigga, y'all know what the fuck going on around here. Played us though. Didn't they though? Played us. Right? So, you don't think they still doing that with everything else? With what they can get away with? Yes. Nigga, they still doing it. Right, because we talk about the tsunami, you know, somebody like, what you mean it wasn't no, it was. So the first thing we gonna attack is the images of the tsunami that they showed your ass. That's computer generated images. You know what I'm saying? We gotta attack that first. Because there's no such thing as satellites. And if you watching and you work in the science community and NASA, any of that shit, we got a question. If there's satellites up there, how did they get up there? Who put them up there? I mean, because think about it. A satellite just sits in the air, stops, it sits in the air, and it stays in that position, and it's just up. Who the fuck put them up there? So, let me guess. Y'all put niggas in them same ships. Y'all sent niggas to the moon in, right? With these big ass satellites. And then they got out floating in the air, flipping around in the middle of space. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just planted it there and it stayed. But meanwhile, they tell you that the astronauts stayed on the ship because in space, if they get out that motherfucker, they will be lost in space because everything keep moving. So we want to know who the fuck got up there outside the planet and placed strategically now, placed all these satellites all nice around the planet, and you get this side of the earth. You're going to get that side of who put them up there.